Hi everyone, welcome to the Cove, and Warrant Officer Grant McFarlane is with me tonight, and we're going to pick through 42 years of his experience right through the ranks to the top job as RSM Army, and spend some time just picking up a few leadership lessons from along the way. So it's great to have Grant with us tonight. Thank you for joining in as well. A reminder too that you can text through your questions for Grant at any stage tonight, and we'll get to those during the course of the night. But obviously, with the amount of experience that Grant's got, the opportunity to ask him a few questions as he begins to step back from the role of RSM Army is pretty special. So, as I say, it's great that you could join us tonight, and we're looking forward to having a good chat. Grant, welcome. Firstly, congratulations and thanks for 42 years of incredible service. What's it like now, just unwinding from all of that and starting to step away?
Hey Mark, it's great to be here at the Cove. I think it's about breaking the routine that I've had for 4 years or 40 plus years also. Up at 4:30, doing my own PT, home and back in the office by 8 o'clock and doing the day's work, just breaking that routine, not waking up to an alarm clock, and setting the new routine with my wife and working out, at the breakfast table what we're going to do for the day, as opposed to having a planned calendar for the next week. So it's I had a show for the first time in 10 days this morning. So it's been pretty relaxed actually.
Sounds like you're getting used to it. Because the job RSM Army, as we've seen, and those of us who've followed you sort of day in day out, it's an incredible job. It's a full-on job, isn't it? It's just go the whole time. You can be all over the world.
It has been, and I think a unique time, the 4 years as the RSM of the Army, working with the Chief of Army, starting with the release of the Ectan inquiry, the bushfires, calling out the 2nd Division, the significant community events, COVID, and the Royal Commission. So there have been really significant and big things that have happened in the last 4 years. But on top of that, training transformation, how the Army's going to be postured in the future, a whole lot of work. And in my 40 odd years, we haven't had this busy a period, and we haven't changed as much as we are at the moment.
Let's go back to when you first joined up. It's 1980, it's 5 years post-Vietnam, so it's an interesting time for both Army and for the nation. What made you want to join the Army?
My grandfather, who was a veteran of Dakota Trap, as a young kid out on the farm, telling me stories of adventure and mateship, and then had a significant event on our farm, and we packed up and moved, and I thought I might give this Army gig a go that my grandfather spoke about, and 42 years later, I'm still here.
What was the Army like at the time? What was that era in Army like?
So the Army's changed significantly for the better, but when I joined, it was pretty rough and tumble. You trained really hard, played pretty hard. Bars were open at lunchtime. So I think we've come a long way. There was we probably didn't respect and give our people enough dignity, and we used you, and if we broke you, you're out the back door. Now I think we're a much better organisation where we actually respect and trust our people and care for them in such a good way.
Grant, you've had such an incredible career and done so many different jobs. Did you expect when you were that young recruit, did you have your target on RSM Army, that you were going to go to the top there?
Absolutely not. So I signed up for 6 years, and I was going to go back to the country Victoria after that. But I had a really good RSM by the name of Arthur Francis, who became a mentor. Come in as unit RSM at 3RR. He interviewed all the NCOs in his first couple of weeks there, and I thought, actually, this bloke actually cares about people, because you used to go to the RSM's office to be yelled at, and that happened to me a few times. But he showed me what a caring person that was really invested in people was about.
You've had so many different roles along the way. Did you have a favourite job in the army?
No, I didn't. Well, I don't think I do, but I'll probably end up giving you one. I enjoyed every rank. I enjoyed being a section commander. I enjoyed being a platoon sergeant, being the trainer and the mentor of the platoon. Same with CSM level, RSM. So I enjoyed all those jobs. They gave me a different opportunity. They gave me time to grow and develop as an individual, but also, I hope, develop those people below me that I work with. But I've got to say, the last 4 years has been pretty special.
Anything along those 42 years that you would want to go back and change?
No. I've learned some hard lessons along the way and had some great times, and I think it's made me the person and the soldier that I am today by those things. So I wouldn't change anything.
We talk about the fact that no one does this alone in this job. You've got to have family there around you and supporting you, and they've got to come on the journey with you together. For your family, I guess the last few years have just been incredible, and through your career you've been so busy, and roles have kept you away and training's kept you away from the family. How's the family coped, and what have you learned about that? What can you pass on about making family work and your partner be involved in what you're doing?
Oh, look, I think we've come a long way about families and supporting our families and that sort of stuff. So when our first son was born, I was on my parachute jump instructor's course, jumping out of an aeroplane at night, and my wife gave birth to Josh. We're not like that now. We would make sure that our people are at home with their families, but that was the way it was. But more importantly, you've met my wife. She's an incredible woman, and I'm blessed for the way that she's conducted herself and raised our family. Always made things work regardless, and she was the main stable behind our two sons and their upbringing. So family is really, really important, and I think that's something that we've really changed, and our focus is now making sure that the individual as well as the family are well supported.
So important. Let's wind back to July 2018. You're appointed the 11th RSM Army. A great honour. Why do you think you were chosen at that time?
That's a good question, and one that I've never ever had asked the chief. But I think we were pretty similar in our views about making sure that our army was connected, that people are actually cared for and supported and looked after, and that we needed to be a different organisation, as in how we train and how we develop ourselves, and what does it actually mean to be an army, to be effective on the battlefield.
In that time, in those 4 years, what would you say has been the greatest challenge you've faced?
I undoubtedly would be the release of Afghanistan report, and being there to support the chief through those pretty incredible first few weeks of being in Perth for the announcement, and the chief being able to look people in the eyes about why, what's happened and how we're going to get through this together, making sure that we learn lessons on the way.
A big challenging time, that's for sure. You must have had a vision, I guess, when you first came in about what you wanted to achieve, how you wanted to work through the job. What was that? What did you want to be as RSM Army?
I think there was a couple of things. So I wanted the Army to be better connected down at the soldier level. So we built the Junior Leader Fellowship with the support of the Deputy Chief of Army. We then did the Sergeant's fellowship, but also how we did PAC and how we did the career management boards to make sure that people had trust in the system, that it was transparent, everybody had a voice in there, and that there was no captain's picks being used, and that order of merit was being held to account, and that we were making sure that we got the right people in the right jobs at the right time.
And Grant, in that vision that you had at the time, is there anything that didn't get done, anything that was on the list that you wanted to achieve that you didn't get to?
I think late in the job, we finally brought the Warrant Officer cohort together as a single identity. I wish I had done that earlier. It didn't happen, but we're on that journey now where a Warrant Officer in Class 1 in the Army is relevant and respected, and that we all have something to contribute, and it's not just about the Regimental Sergeant Majors.
When you look back over the whole 42 years, what are you most proud of from your career? What's made you, I guess, sleep well at night?
I don't know, it's a good question. I think most proud of is the great people that we have in our army, and that the way they contribute. And I said the last 4 years, especially how we've reacted to bushfires and COVID, being in the community, being part of the community, that is something I'm really proud of. But I think I'm most proud of being a father and having a couple of wonderful kids and 3 fantastic grandchildren. So, yeah.
Something to be proud of. Yeah. Grant, the Australian soldier, something that obviously it's been a big part of your life for 42 years now. What makes, in your mind, a good Australian soldier? And has that changed over the years? Is the good soldier of the 1980s different to the 90s, the 2000 today? Is it an evolving thing?
I think it has evolved, but I think always the ingredients have always been, hey, be a good person, be honest, give your best, do your best, challenge yourself, and give people opportunity to be their best. And I think, being proud of wearing our uniform and our slouch hat, regardless of rank and corps, is pretty unique, because it is something that's really well respected in the community, and you can travel all over the world and anybody can see a slouch hat and they know that there's a trusted agent there as an Australian soldier.
Yeah. And obviously you have travelled widely in this role and throughout your career. Do you find that though, how is the Australian soldier held in regard around the world?
Held in high regard. Everybody wants an Australian on their team, and they want to come and do exercises with us, deploy with us. I think, as I said, I think they just want an Australian on their side because they know that they'll be well looked after and supported and trusted. So,
it's a good reputation to have.
Very.
Army has some manning issues. If we can talk about those. How would Grant McFarlane solve those retention and I guess recruiting issues that Army faces at the moment? Because we require a lot of people, it seems, at the moment.
Yeah. Hey, look, I think we've never been full. I suppose maybe in the late 90s we were. Then we got rid of a whole heap of people because we were full. But I can remember when I first joined, I was in a 5-man section for years, and when I was a section commander, I never ever had a full section. So we've always had these issues, but I don't think we've ever shone a focus on it enough. So I think for recruiting would be, we've got to recruit the family, not just the individual, take them on the journey right from the word go. And we've got to make sure that we live up to our value proposition about giving everybody an opportunity, caring for the family, caring for the people, and making sure that everybody has a good experience. And then if you choose to leave on your own terms. in good order, and then you can come back when we need to. And I think the other thing, we probably need to change some work practices. Maybe if Grant McFarlane, 30 odd years ago decided to leave, maybe he left and could still have the married quarter and still had free dental, free health and all that sort of stuff, just to ease out as you transition out. But you can always then come back and you've lost no none of those opportunities and those things that we actually value.
RSM Army is, as we've talked about, a full-on, busy job. How do you unwind? How do you step away? And what's Grant McFarlane downtime look like?
Well, before the 1st of July, I was, I enjoy my bike riding. So that was around the lake at 4:45 in the morning. And on the weekend, when we did have time, get away to the coast, bit of paddle boarding and just time to spend with Trace and reflect. Now it's, I get up and I can go for a bike ride in daylight a couple of times a day. And I need to get the legs going ready for March. We're going to go for a ride up the coast.
Beautiful. Tour de cure, looking forward to it. I want to ask you, and I think this is an important question, and if you've got questions too, don't forget to text them in because we're getting a few coming in. We'll get to those shortly. But I love this one. For recruits stepping off the bus at Kapooka, starting their career, ground level, what do you think it's important that they know about the Australian Army? What would you like them to know as they step into uniform?
Yeah, I think they need to know that it is a tough business. We ask a lot of you as an individual and as a family, but take the opportunities to ask questions, take the opportunity to learn, take the opportunity to really, I think I said it before, challenge yourself to make sure that you understand what you're doing. But more importantly, those corporal recruiting instructors at Kapooka, they will guide you and give you all the right skills and the right attributes to be a successful soldier.
And Grant, as you start to step away now, what has Army given you? What do you take away from 42 years in this organisation?
I think I'll take away a whole heap of proud moments over 42 years of service. And I think the other part will be that, hey, it's not scary on the other side of the grass.
Speaking of that, what's the next chapter look like? What do you move on to?
I know I'm still got about 10 weeks of leave to go, so I've made no commitments or no looking for anything except to enjoy the next 10 weeks of downtime and actually reflecting. I'm writing my memoirs at the moment, only for my family. So that's been really reflective at the moment. So, and yeah, I'll continue to do that. And after the 16th of September, we'll see what's around the corner for Grant McFarlane.
You mentioned earlier on you had a mentor, and I just wonder who you chose, and have you had the same mentor all the way through, or do you evolve that? Do you use different people at different times? And at what stage of your career was a mentor most important to you?
So I think, as I said, Arthur Francis was my first one when I was a junior NCO. And I used him all through my career. I worked with him a couple of times, and then when he retired, I was at the School of Infantry and I used him a couple of times. But also Warrant Officer Kev Woods, who was also a previous RSM of the Army. He really taught me about knowing myself as a young sergeant away too. So yeah, I've had two, and they're two different people, but they're similar in different ways. So yeah, and use Kev Woods now still. He doesn't know that, but I engage him every now and then just to bounce something off him. But I think they are really, really important. And I think, as I said, I don't think I would have stayed for as long without having some good mentors and being able to have those discussions and honest and frank conversations, which I got from both of them.
Yeah. So obviously it's important to find a mentor. What do you look for? Why did you pick those fellas?
I think for Arthur Francis he struck me as the bloke that was actually invested and cared. Kev was the same, but he gave it to me between the eyes a couple of times. So in a respectful way. So yeah.
Grant, as you transition now, what skills do you reckon you've picked up along the way that will help you as you move forward now?
I've been thinking about that, to be honest, and I think the skills that I've learned and will get me through whatever the next phase will be is be yourself, know yourself, and trust yourself, and back yourself.
As we sort of start to wrap these up, as you look back, is there anything you'd change about the Army at the moment? And if so, what would that be?
I wouldn't change anything. I think the Army is on a good trajectory, and it's in a good place. Yeah, wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, nice time to be stepping off when you have that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. I want to mention the Cove Challenge. Now that's just wrapped up, and the theme was your best leadership lesson, and there've been some great ones. It's a good way to, and it's quite amazing looking at other people's leadership lessons and reading them and saying, hey, yeah, wow, that connects with me. I get that. I'm going to take that away. And I reckon each one of those you look at, you will get something from. So if you haven't seen them pop up on social media, take the time to have a look because they're fantastic. Grant, you had your leadership lesson. We'll take a look at that. Just tell us a bit about it.
I think my biggest lesson was know yourself and understand yourself. I was a pretty brash young fella that had to always be first, or the team had to be first at all costs. I realised pretty soon after being a section commander that wasn't always the right case, and that the strength of the organisation is your team, and to be able to develop and make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be their best and reach their potential was really, really important, and probably a lesson I wish I had learned even before I became a corporal.
You've had the chance to look through a few of these, and you're asked for your favourite, and you picked Lieutenant Aaron Thomas. Why did you like his?
Pretty much as I just explained. I think he realised the focus and the strength of the organisation was having good team around you, but also being able to develop the individuals so they can contribute to the team and that they can reach their full potential.
We're getting some great questions in, so thank you for those. We'll try and get through a few of those. First one, Grant, is from Lieutenant Colonel Glenn McKenzie from HQ Forces Command. Thank you, sir. He says, thank you for your service. And here's an interesting question. How have you developed those above you?
Well, thanks for the question, and I hope that I developed him. Actually, we worked together at a rifleman wing many years ago. I think being able to have those tough conversations in a respectful way is the way that you develop those above you, and sometimes they're robust conversations, but they're respectful. So I think that'd be what I think and hope, because I've worked with some really good people, and I hope that I have made an impact on them.
Good stuff. This one from Warrant Officer Peck from 1RAR in Townsville. Firstly, thank you for your service. It's been an honour to serve with you. What are 3 pieces of advice that you would give a younger WO2 McFarlane moving into the role of WO1?
I think, and I reflect on this quite often as you go through your career, but it's always know yourself and back yourself. And my last one would be learn something new every day.
Good one. This one from Warrant Officer Class 1 Guy Musgrove, 12-16 Hunter Rifle Lancers in Tamworth. Says, congratulations on a high-profile career and achieving significant milestones throughout your 42 years. Is there something you didn't achieve that you wanted to during your time, and was there a reason that wasn't achieved?
I don't think there is. I think I've achieved everything. Well, not that you ever set out to achieve, to the RSM Army or to be the RSM of 3 hour. You do your time, do the best job you can, and people will select you for your job. And when you get that, you go and do your best job again, you get promoted. So, no, I've been blessed. I've had a great career, and I've been supported by many, many great people.
All right, next one is from Warrant Officer Class 2, James Long, one RAR in Townsville, says congratulations on a great career, not holding the 3 RAR background against you. Fair enough. What was your go-to advice to encourage soldiers to post out of a battalion and experience what the wider Army has to offer as a junior NCO?
I wish Longy was here actually, and I'd be able to have those conversations with him. I think we had many years ago. But I think we've got to share the way we build resilience and build a better organisation is by sharing those events that we have and those leadership events, and being able to invest in those young soldiers or those recruits that want to come and join our army. We need to have our best NCOs down there, our best NCOs at our training schools, so that we're developing our young people right from the word go. And with good NCOs, that's how you do that. Also, at the same time, you're developing yourself as an NCO, building your leadership skills and your knowledge, that sort of stuff. So I think there's benefit in both.
Mm. So we come to that point now where you're stepping out after 42 years, and 42 years that have been very much on the go. There's been so much happening all the time. What's it like at the moment emotionally? Is it what's the feeling of stepping out and stepping away from something that's been such a big part of your life?
It's really interesting. I had a fair bit of apprehension about what was next. Mm. And I think, went and seeked a lot of advice, that sort of stuff as I have transitioned. But hey, I found it pretty relaxing. As I said before, I first shaved today for about 10 days, so and not waking up to alarm. But it did take a bit of, first couple of mornings about you wake up and that sort of stuff, and no alarm and that sort of stuff. But I think I will walk away from the organisation proud for the contribution I've made, proud of the contribution that people have made to me, and the investment people have given me, and the time they've given me to make sure that I've had a fantastic career, and that my family's been well looked after too. So I'll walk away a real proud Australian.
Yeah, and so you should. And Greg, can I say on behalf of everyone who's worked with you, thank you for what you've done in your service, amazing service, and all that you've achieved along the way will stay with you for the rest of your life, which is a fantastic legacy. And particularly on behalf of the team at the Cove, we want to say a big thank you for the support that you've given the Cove to in developing it. And as the guys say at the Cove, anytime they've asked you for anything, you've supported and you've been there for them. So they just want to say big thanks.
Hey, thanks, Mark. But also, I want to thank the Cove team. It's come a long way, and I think this is a great platform to be able to get messages out, and it's always there for people to reach into. And I want to thank you for tonight.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it, and that's the great thing about what we've got here. And so important, but before we lose you to the bigger world, to grab those ideas and those all that leadership and all that knowledge that you've got from 42 years. So again, can I say thanks for your service? It's been a pleasure to work with you. So all the very best, Grant. Have a great retirement or whatever it's going to be next.
I will.
See you on the bike. Thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this session on the Cove. And as I said, just great to be able to tap into those incredible 42 years and all of that learning. So we don't want to let that knowledge get away from us. It's always here on the Cove, so make sure that you drop back and check in from time to time. And those leadership lessons will be floating around as well. Have a look at those. But from us for tonight, thanks very much on behalf of the Cove, and we will see you soon. Thank you. Good night.